In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we shall continue to study from 1 Corinthians. So we are at 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Chapter 4 right now. Yes, I was reminded. I was reminded by some students. I spent too much time doing recap. I used too much time going over what was previously mentioned. Okay, fine. Let's do a recap. Okay, chapter 4. I tried to finish chapter 4 last night, but unfortunately, due to somebody's fault, I was unable to finish. Whom I'm not going to mention her name. No, please do not guess. All right, so we touch upon chapter 4 to be the good steward. How do you be a good steward in the house of the Lord? So we begin by talking about nothing but faithfulness. What is asked of you as the stewards of the house of the Lord? Nothing but faithfulness. So if you are not very smart, that's fine. You know, God doesn't really care. The world, they might care a lot if you're smart or not. Your boss in the future, when you are working, they might care a lot if you are able or not. Okay? So for those who are able, for those who are smart, for those who are very demonstrating high ability, yeah, maybe you might seem or you might have a more achieving life. Yep. So but just to let you know, when it comes to the eyes of the Lord, God doesn't really care if you are not very smart. God doesn't really care if you are not very able. God doesn't really care if you graduate from community college, because it makes no differences to him. You know what? People in the world, they might look at you differently. Oh, this is the school you graduate. Oh, you are an engineer. Oh, you are a doctor. Oh, you are a lawyer. Oh, you are this, you are that. The world determines your value by your achievements, not God. Okay? So God doesn't really care if you are the smartest in the church, but God does care if you try. That's the only thing. Very fair. If you try, then you are good. If you give what you got, then you are good. Like what we talk about by the heavenly kingdom is by percentage. It's by percentage. You get 5 talent, you get 2 talent, you get 1 talent, you get 5, you get 2, 100, 100. Can you imagine that the one talented, if he come back with 1.1, the story will be very different. Because apparently by percentage, this will be better than this too. Even in the absolute number, 1.1 smaller than 2, smaller than 5, this is nothing compared to that, but by percentage, this one gave all he got, and he went beyond. He went beyond. Okay, so number 1, faithfulness, and number 2, we talk about in chapter 4, in verse 7. So verse 2, then in verse 7, that In verse 7 it says that what do you have? What is that you have is not received. Okay? Verse 7 says, what do you have that you did not receive? So we say that all we have, everything that we have is received. So that knowing everything comes from Him, it can help you to avoid pride. You won't say, see how much I offer more than you. You won't say that because you know what you have does not come from you. What you own is given by God. In fact, we are more like the manager. Just like the talents, like the parable of the talent, we are only giving something to manage. Some can manage with higher return. Some manage but did not harvest much. Everything that we have is given by God. So if we are able to keep that mentality, it will be very difficult to be prideful. Number 3, your role in the play. Okay? Sometimes you might look at the world or look at the people around you, and then you might feel it's very unfair. Especially when you have people around you who are either extremely smart or extremely wealthy. I have a cousin. She made all our life miserable because she has photographic memory. Because she has extremely high IQ. There was once I went to her house. She has at the entrance, there is a bookshelf filled with all different weird books. It goes from all different areas, like philosophers or different religion, different philosophy, like all those like complicated, deep, weird, So, I randomly pick a book, and I was just like flipping through it. She passed by, she said, which one you are reading? So I look, I gave her the title. And then she asked, which page are you on? I was like, page 183. And she said, that is about that. I hate it. Yeah, she's so smart. She's very smart. This is unfair. If I have that, if I have that, who would bother with study, right? You read it once, you memorize everything. You know what, people, there are some really, really smart people out there. There are some really, really wealthy people out there. When I was working, I have the company hired me an assistant for me, a secretary. So one morning, I came to work, I drove in, and then I found in the parking lot, company parking lot, there was a new Mercedes. I think it's X600 or something. I was like, wait, boss got a new car. I thought he just got a BMW 700 series. So I was just a little bit curious. I thought my boss got two new cars. It just turned out my secretary came in with a Mercedes 600 to work. I was just like, hi. Sit down, please, sit down. No, we are the same age. We are around the same age. He's a little bit younger than me. A very nice guy, So I learned that his family was very well-to-do. But his mother said to him, even they are very wealthy, his mother said to him, if if you do not go out and get your hand dirty, get a job, that means you are useless. Even they are very wealthy. He said that for a man, if you don't work with your hand, you are useless. So the mother kicked him out. Yeah, the mother kicked him out. He was a very nice guy. So he said, okay, mother, and then he went out to work. Yeah. So he worked every day. And the thing is, I see him drive different car to work. I went to his house once. Actually one day we were outside. And he was driving because I want to sit in the, He was driving and halfway he looked at he said, oh, running out of gas. What is your reaction if you are running out of gas? You find a gas station, right? No, that's not him. The first thing is that, how far am I from my house? I was like, what do you mean by that? He said, oh, we're not very far. You know what? Let me do a detour. He drove home. And then he tossed the key to the butler. Yes, they have a butler in the house. He tossed the key and said, filled out the gas, and he took another car. And so we left with a different car. I was like, okay, yeah. It's just very interesting that it was a huge mansion. The house itself is not, he said it's about at that time the house is about 4.5 million. Of course, while we were there, so he gave me a tour of the house. He just said he doesn't like the house. He said it's too big. But he was very serious. Because only him and his mother. And the butler. And 6 cars. 6 cars. Yeah. He just, that we were at the huge dining area, like the living room area, and then I was looking around, and he told me, oh, that room don't get in. The dining room don't get in. I was like, why? He said, oh, it's not personal. Even he cannot get in, because that place is reserved when his mother is having those big party. So even the handkerchief is hand folded, and he told me that just that room, just the design and handfold handkerchief and play, everything costs more than $100,000. So he is not allowed to go in and use it. That room is reserved only for the big thing. Yeah. He doesn't like the house. He doesn't like his family. He doesn't like his life. He likes watches. Yeah. Yeah, in his room there's a glass display, a spinning one that with all different watches. Oh no, not this kind. Yeah, collectibles. So you know what? Yeah, people. He was born into that family. Maybe you were like, oh, drooling. But you know what? He actually told me he hated. And I just wonder why. There was once that he came to my house to pick up some files, to get some documents. He came and he's like, oh, your place is so good, your place is good. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, at least you got family. He doesn't. At least that's how, his mother is there, but his mother is always traveling, business trip. So he told me he was raised by the butler, by the steward. He said that, yeah, the mother is there, but he doesn't really get to speak to her or see her. He said that there was once her mother called her at midnight, very angry. Where are you? And then he said, Mother, I am downstairs. Because the house is big. Yeah, Mother, I'm downstairs. He said that he would do anything to exchange for a normal family life with parents. But anyway, that's not. I just want to tell you, when you envy about the so-called lavish life, for them, they might feel that they live in hell. Okay? You envy just because you don't have. but maybe many people try to get out of it. Okay? I actually bought one of their family car. Yeah, I bought the Acura 3.5 RL extra luxury version. He gave me the price tag. I said, oh, because they are buying another one. They are buying like the Lexus convertible thing. Yeah. I said, oh, so you're going to get 7 cars? He said, oh, my mom said maybe you can just get rid of one. I was like, which one? So apparently that the 3.5 RL is the lowest car, like the cheapest car in the family. I was like, I'll take that. And then he said, oh, let me ask my mom. So he went back and asked, and he came back and gave me a price lower. Actually, a few $1,000s lower than the market price. And I just told him, oh, that's the price? You are fired. Now, so he went back home and he got a much lower price for me from his mom. Anyway, I will never finish. I know that. You did not remind me. Okay, so you know what I'm trying to say? Even I'm totally all over the place. I just want you to know, yeah, you know what? If you only look at the so-called environment, how smart you are, how tall you are, some people good looking, some people this and that, some people come from wealthy family. If you only look at that, then you will find the world is not fair. But Apostle Paul tells you, this is only a role that you play on the stage. So maybe you play as the role of a child born in a wealthy family. Maybe you play, like for me, I play the role as the son of a pastor growing up in TJC. Okay? So you know what? Those are giving roles. It's never about higher or lower. It's never about bigger or smaller. It's never about better or worse. It's only about if you are a good actor. If you do good. If you do good, you win a lot of applause from God and from angels. Okay? So if you come from a very difficult background, and then the play, you know that when God write the script of your life, he said he came from a very difficult background, but he was determined, he was hardworking, and he was able to trust in God, rely on God. If that's your script, and you played it nicely, then you play beautifully with a lot of praises from God. Okay? So it's not about what role, because even you are the king, it was only a role in the play, temporarily. Eventually, everyone needs to take off the costume. Eventually, everyone needs to bow and step off the stage. And that's when the real thing begins. The so-called judgment day is basically, what you may call that? Rotten tomato? Like, you know that every time there's a movie, right? There's a rotten tomato, like give you like if it's good, it's bad, how good you play, how, you know what? That's exactly what's happening here. So it tells you that we are only doing a play. So what matters in our life is if you are a good actor. Okay, that's it. All right, number four. Something that we did not cover yesterday, thanks to you know who. Chapter 4, verse 14. Here says that I do not write this thing to shame you, but as my beloved children, I warn. Faithfully, knowing everything you have, you are only a manager, so it's not yours. Okay? Your time, your money, you are only managing it. Okay? Number 3, everything passes. It doesn't matter what kind of role you are giving in this life. It only matters if you do good. If you are able to act nicely according to the script that the Lord wrote for you. Okay? And number 4 in here says that like a father. This is talking about mentality. Apostle Paul said, many people like to many people act as instructor. I give you command, I give you order, I tell you what to do, you do likewise. I give you instruction. But what is the differences between like a teacher versus like a father? You are a teacher versus you are a father. What are the differences? Not that there is anything wrong with the teacher. Don't get me wrong. We are talking about mindset, not the role, not the work. So do not go and say, oh, RE teacher no good. We are not talking about that kind of comparison per se. We are saying just like the higher hand, the higher E versus the sharper. It's the same concept. It's the same concept. So what is that Apostle Paul was talking when he compared instructor? He said there are thousands of instructors, but only a few father. It tells you that when you serve as a father, you care. That's the differences. For the higher E, higher hand, okay, or as an instructor, you are there only for duty, get the things done. So for the teacher, for the instructor, so some people they only serve out of obligation, duty. I do it because I have to. They might do the same thing. You know that the sharper and the higher hand, they might do exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. But the value of their servitude is totally different. One, they do it because they have to. The other, they do it because they want to. They want to. Okay? Why do they want to? Because they care. So, like a father. There are a few things in this passage that we need to pay attention to. So what does it mean to serve like a father? Okay? Number one, in verse 14, I do not write this to shame you. So serving like a father, number one, your purpose, your goal. Your goal is not to embarrass or put down the children. Okay? So when you give an instruction, when you are telling people what to do, you are not there to just for the sake of fun to make them feel miserable. Making you feel miserable is not my intention. Even I did pick on you sometimes in here. Yes, I do. I don't enjoy, sorry, let me rephrase myself. I don't, no, I cannot lie. Sometimes, teasing you is a lot of fun, yeah. But my job, what I do in here is not to make your life miserable. Let's put it that way. Maybe sometimes do prayer section, I might be harsh. Maybe in my class, you might feel that I am mean. The way I talk, the content I share, making you feel terrible is not my intention. My intention is hopefully by maybe like poking you, it might save you. That's my only intention. Okay? So the number one, you have to have a very clear goal, especially if you are RE teacher. If you are RE teacher, make sure that when you discipline the students, the purpose is not to exercise, I am the boss of the classroom. I am teacher. You better listen to me. That's not the heart of a father. Okay? So Paul say, my goal is not to shame you. My goal is to save you. Okay? That's number one. Be clear what is the intention when you give discipline. Okay? And number 2, we mentioned, he said, like a father, like a father. So the motivation is out of care, out of love. Okay? So serving is more than just a sole duty. It's not just solely responsibility. Okay? So you are not, as we say, 你不是教书匠. You are not just a teacher. For professors, for teachers, you know that you are in college, you know. You think a professor care about why? Not really. They have 120 students in the classroom. You think they care? Oh, your life is very difficult. You are miserable. You have to be part-time. No, either you pass or you fail. You think that the professor is going to get involved into your private life and be understanding and trying to put themselves in your shoes? No, they don't. They are just there to teach. When they finish, they walk away. So the number 2, you need to be in a spirit of a father. All the holy work that you do in the church because you care. You care about God. You care about your student. You care about the congregation. Okay? That's number 2. Number 3, in verse 17, he said, I send Timothy to you. Number 3 is about method. Method. So Paul was unable at this time. Paul was unable to go to Corinthian church. Therefore, he went through the trouble finding Timothy and asked Timothy to go and pay them a visit. Extra effort. Yeah, Paul has all the reason in the world. He could say, I'm very busy, okay? I can't. He could say that, hey, come on, I got other things. I have obligations. I just got beaten. What do you want from me? You know what? People can always find reason to bail themselves out with doing more. But he did not. He said, I cannot go. Let me find a way to help you. Extra mile, extra effort. Okay? It is very easy. It is very easy for you to find some reasons, excuse why you cannot help the church work, why you cannot visit the student in their home, why you cannot sit down and talk to them and know how they feel. You have all the reason in the world to justify and excuse yourself why you are not doing it. But sometimes from the bottom of your heart, you know the real reason is you just don't want to do it. Okay? Sometimes that's the only reason. The only reason is because, oh no, I want to use my time for my thing. That's why I don't want to use my time for your thing. That's the only reason. Okay? So in here, Paul went through the extra mile, extra effort, so that someone can tend to the need of Corinthian church. Okay? Number 4, in verse 21. What do you want? Shall I come to you with a rod, or in love and a spirit of gentleness? Number 4, we find a rod. Something that we do not find in your generation today. Okay? Nowadays, we cannot use the rod or any other kind of weaponry against the student or against the children. You have no idea. you have no idea what we went through in my generation. Yeah. Sometimes the parents can get really creative. Like when I was young, like 30, some 40. Oh, you know what? My mother actually never disciplined me after I turned 12. Yeah. Before that, oh, you have no idea. She can get really creative. Yeah, she could get. You know, sometimes nowadays my mom and I, we talk about the good old days. Yeah. We talk about what kind of weaponry that she used to use. She denied everything. She's like, no, I never. I said, sure you did. I still remember how that thing feels. Yeah, when it gets on the lake. Yeah. No, she denied everything. She said, no, I don't remember. I said, yeah, you don't because you are the one that's hitting people. I remember because I'm the one that's getting hit, okay? Yeah, but you know what? In the old days, yeah, they use rod. Nowadays, they don't. They don't. Of course, for protecting the kid, whatever, no physical discipline, I mean, they are good and bad in everything. So we are not here to talk about right or wrong. But in here, the spirit is, Apostle Paul said, if it's needed, I will go to you with a rod. Not physically, you have to remember, all these are adults. He was talking to the members in Corinth that they might be like 40 years old, 50 years old. He was not talking about a physical rod. He was talking about, if it's needed, I could be mean. If it's needed, I will give you a harsh discipline. Nowadays, it seems like we have to be gentle, mellow, and understanding. We cannot be straightforward, or we cannot make you feel bad. Okay, so I was told many years ago when I was a RE teacher, one of the RE teacher, she grew up in U.S. She told me that you never say anything bad about the students. I was like, why? And she said, oh, you're going to make them feel bad. I was like, isn't that the whole point? Yeah. But she said, oh, no, you're going to hurt their feeling. I was like, exactly. Yeah, but she said that, if they do good, you have to say, oh, you're so good. If they are not good, they are terrible. You say, oh, yeah, not so bad. You can do better. Like you know what? Always positive enforcement, I was told. I disagree. I think that there is a line. Just like you never find that in the Bible. There are times that God can show the merciful side if you are doing what is right. But there are times for the righteous side, discipline, when it's needed. So that's what I believe. Apostle Paul said the same. You see that in First Thessalonians, Paul said, I love you like a loving mother, but I discipline you like a father. You need both. Love without teaching is not love. Abusing the concept of love is nothing but spoiling the child and ruining their future. Okay? So number 4, even though he said like a father, that sometimes if it's needed, discipline is needed. So being an RE teacher, please do remember, you are not trying to earn their favor. I found that some RE teachers try very hard to make the student like them. You are wrong. Because at the end of the day, you do not answer to the students. At the end of the day, you do not answer to the parents. At the end of the day, you answer to God. God is the one that you report to. And then, because God is your boss, not the kids, not the parents. Of course, I am not telling you you need to be mean. I'm not telling you you need to be harsh. I'm only telling you that you need to discipline them if they are wrong. That might save them. You care about their soul more than if they like you or not. So you are not in the RE classroom to earn the title of the most favorite teacher. That's not your job. Your job is what? To bring them life, even if it comes with a rod. Okay? So let's continue to chapter 5. In chapter 5, the concept is simple. You know, in the next few chapters, we will only touch upon a few concepts because the content itself is a bit too complicated, even for NYTS. It will take forever if you want to argue, drill in, and debate about the concept. So in chapter 5, there are two things I want to touch upon before we end this class. Please do read it. Let's read it first. In chapter 5 now, something very serious happened. It's about sexual immorality. You find that in chapter 1 to 4, they touch upon the overall church major issue. From chapter 5, now they touch upon individual morality issue. Okay? So chapter 5, verse 1, that it is actually report that there is sexual immorality among you, and such sexual immorality as is not even named among the Gentiles, that a man has his father's wife. 2, that you are puffing up, and have not rather mourned that he who has done such a deed may be taken away from among you. Okay? So now we have a very serious issue in the church. However, most often that we focus upon, when we read chapter 5, we think the problem is upon sexual immorality. It's not. The real problem in here is not about sexual immorality. Because the fact, now this guy, this brother, this church member, he married his father's wife. It is extremely, of course, most likely stepmother. Okay, so he married the stepmother. Most likely the father died. Okay. So this man took his father's wife, and it's a great sexual immorality. But in chapter 5, the focus is not about this, because this is very easy to handle. You get rid of the person. When you have such an evil deed, the way to handle is very simple. You kick out the person, you cut him off. So Apostle Paul was not talking or worrying about sexual immorality. Because, hey, you have all different kinds of people in the church. Someone commits such a terrible crime, terrible sin, very easy, cut him off. The problem is not with sexual immorality. The problem is when the church was fully aware of the situation and they did not deal with it. That's where the problem is. And Apostle Paul said, you are puffing up. Why? Someone commits sexual immorality, but why did Paul go around and say to the church, you are puffing up, you are very arrogant? Why? Because it's the attitude towards sin. That they feel, what's a big deal? It's that kind of attitude. Yeah, this man commit a great sin. It's okay. It's all right. We are loving and forgiving. Sometimes men could act as they are more forgiving than God. I have more love than God. God say no, I say yes. God say get rid of him. I say I embrace the sinner. See, I am more loving than God. Sometimes people act as they are above. They are above the rule of the Bible in name of love. When God say such an evil, sexually immoral, such an evil, remove them from you. And you say, oh, but I am very open-minded. Oh, yeah, I am very accepting. Oh, yeah, I embrace everyone. I'm so inclusive. You act as you are, more higher than God. Paul said you are puffing up. Who do you think you are? We find that in this generation today, even in the church, that even in the younger generation, because your environment, because your education, because what you hear, what you see, there are many things in the world that's against the Bible. And you know exactly God say no, but you have to act as, I'm more loving than God. So I will accept. I am inclusive. God is too exclusive. Church is too narrow-minded. Look at me. I am all open-minded. So what if you're open-minded? You're open-minded. You know, the thing is, you are actually nobody when it comes to salvation. Like we are, when I say nobody means that you have no control over it. You do not guard the way to heavenly kingdom. You do not decide who can go to heaven or not. So when it comes to the process of salvation, you and I, we are nothing. We are only the recipient. We are not we don't get to design the game. We don't get to set up the rule, right? So the whole process of salvation has nothing to do with us. It's all in God's control. So what if you say, I'm very open-minded. I accept all these things. What's the point? What are you trying to say? And this is what happened to Corinthians. According to the scripture, this is evil in the eyes of the Lord. But then Corinthians say, it's all right. We are above. We are transcending. We are not bounded by the law. We only see God and God alone. It might sound very spiritual, but in the essence, inside essence, is nothing but pride and arrogance. It's the same thing. It's nothing but pride and self-promoting. So then here, Paul says, what's wrong with you people? Why are you puffing up? Why are you telling this guy that it's okay? Why are you tolerating evil as is nothing? This is called puffing up. So again, going back to chapter 5, sexual immorality is not the biggest problem in here. The biggest problem is you think this is not a big deal. It's not the person who commits sexual immorality, because for that person, Paul says, just get rid of him. Very simple, just get rid of him. So the problem is not the one who commits sexual immoral. It's not. It's the member who feel this is not a big deal. That's where the trouble is. Okay? So our time is up. We have one more class in the afternoon. All right, let's all kneel down and pray on the court.